Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you. I'm sorry to break up all the networking, but can I ask everyone to please take their seats? We're about to begin this session on collaborating and innovating to accelerate circularity. My name is Sarah Miller, and I am the CEO of the Rediscovery Centre, the National Centre for the Circular Economy in Ireland. And it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Pat Hennessy, Commissioner General, Ireland Dubai Expo 2020, to formally open today's proceedings. And Pat, it's over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, it's a great pleasure for me and the team here at the Ireland Pavilion to welcome you all here to this event, the closing session in Circular Europe. The theme, as we all know, of Expo is Connecting Minds, Creating the Future. And I can think of no better work that delivers on that maxim and that philosophy than the work that you have been engaged in over the past 2 days. You have genuinely been connecting minds and creating a better future for all our societies. So for Ireland, it's a great pleasure to be part of this programme with our friends in the European Commission and in the other pavilions that have been very much part of this exercise. You will have heard from Sonia over these last couple of days how much activity there's been in Ireland, the heightened focus on the circular economy in the last year, 18 months or so. We've had a circular climate action act passed. We've had a whole of government strategy statement adopted, and next year we're moving to have a full piece of legislation around the circular economy. So there's a lot happening, and indeed then in 2023 we'll be delighted that Dublin will be one of the hotspots, giving even further emphasis and dynamism to that work. That work has been greatly facilitated in Ireland by our co-hosts here this evening, the Rediscovery Centre and Circulara, and we're really happy to salute them and salute the work that they have done both in Ireland and here working with colleagues. In Ireland, we talk about a mehel in the Irish language. The mehel is that sense that when there's a job to be done, the community comes together to deliver it, that we're all for one and one for all. And I can think of no better metaphor for the work of the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform than that sense of community and of coming together. And the work that you've done over the last 2 days has been very much in that spirit. As I said, we in Ireland have hugely increased our focus and the priority that we've been giving to this area of work. And I think one example of that is the fact that our Deputy Secretary General from the Foreign Ministry for Global Issues, Sonia Highland, has chosen to join us here for these past 2 days and has been a very active and full participant in our work. So it is a great pleasure for me now to introduce to you the Deputy Secretary General, Sonia Highland.
Thank you, Pat, and thank you, Sarah, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to very briefly thank everybody who's been involved in the Circular Europe Days. I think it's an amazing opportunity and also an amazing example of how we can showcase European collective action. We can't really do anything if we're not doing it together. That's the whole point of the circular economy. And I think for the European Union and the various different member states that have taken part, particularly Slovenia, Poland, Netherlands, Ireland, and obviously the European Union also, it's been a real statement of how even though European countries are at different levels and at different stages in terms of the circular economy, it's something that unites us all in terms of something that we want to try and achieve. And it's a key part of the European Green Deal, which is an absolute priority for all member states over the next 7 years. You've heard us obviously talk about Ireland and Ireland's experience, and I'm sure Sarah and others will talk in more detail about what we've done in Ireland and what we're trying to do. But just one thing that I'd like to emphasize, and this is something I think I said at the opening session yesterday, but also I think the last 2 days I've had at Expo have really just doubled down on that, is that this is something that needs to be global as well. I think the European Union and European member states can absolutely lead the way in terms of sharing experience, in terms of sharing technologies, ideas, financing, supporting other member states to engage in the circular economy. But this has to be a global agenda. It has to be something that is intimately linked into the Sustainable Development Goals and the Global Goals agenda. And I think that's why, for me, the last 2 days have been so interesting, because I started off with the opening of the Circular Europe Days, then did a whole lot of work and a whole lot of activities in relation to various different bits of the Sustainable Development Goals agenda, and then coming back here today on my last day and the last event of the day to close the Circular Europe Days. And I think, again, this is something that we have to do. We can't reach our global climate goals without this. We saw this very clearly in Glasgow. The COP26 has taught us that we're totally interlinked. Everything we do is interlinked. The fossil fuels, obviously, agenda is important, but the circular economy agenda is incredibly important for us to deliver on our climate goals. And we can only do that, again, in a circular way, but that circular way has to include the full circle of the globe. So thank you so much for the opportunity, for obviously Freek and Ladija and Sarah, for the invitation. And Ireland, I think, is just really, really proud to be part of this, and really proud to be one of the member states that is trying to spearhead and lead both at the European level and a global level on this agenda. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonia. It's now my great pleasure to share a keynote address from our Minister of State with responsibility for the circular economy, Oisin Smith. And for this, we're going to go live to Dublin for a video from our Minister.
As Minister with responsibility for implementing circular economy policy across Ireland's government, I'm delighted to be able to talk to you today about our journey to achieving a circular economy. Ireland is fully committed to achieving a circular transition and to embracing the environmental, social and economic opportunities. The circular economy represents a fundamental shift in how everyone in society, not just government, but also businesses and households, how they consume, how they produce, how they interact with the products and services that we use every single day. So it can't be achieved in a piecemeal fashion. And that's why at the end of last year, Ireland produced its first whole-of-government circular economy strategy. This strategy sets out Ireland's ambition to become a circular economy leader within Europe, and how all the policy levers at the government's disposal can contribute to meeting this ambition. So the strategy that we've done, it aims to raise awareness about the circular economy across Irish society and about the benefits it can deliver for Ireland. But it has to go beyond raising awareness. The second thing we're doing is to support increased circular economy investment so that the transition can provide balanced, inclusive and sustainable jobs and growth. Thirdly, we want to identify and tackle the barriers to achieving the circular economy. But as I said, achieving the circular economy, it can't just be about what the government does. So as Ireland implements this new strategy, we want to do so on the basis of partnership. We want to do so on the basis of cooperation with all stakeholders. And that's why we'll be asking civil society groups, research community, the private sector. We will be asking these different groups for their input at every stage as we implement strategy and further develop our national circular economy policies. Government is also backing up our new policy framework with new legislation, and that's to support the circular transition. So in the coming weeks, I'm hoping to be publishing Ireland's first circular economy bill. And this piece of legislation will allow for the introduction of a wide range of economic incentives around things like reusable packaging. And it will also improve our regulatory framework for the reuse of materials that at the moment are just going to waste. A more robust and efficient regulatory framework for the reuse of construction and demolition material, for example, that will have a really significant impact on Ireland's circularity performance, because at the moment, those construction materials account for a large part of our national waste stream. The bill will also allow government to ban the use of disposable items where reusable alternatives are available and where those alternatives are affordable. So legislating for these powers is a really clear signal to the market that we're serious about achieving the circular economy and that we want consumers to have access to the widest possible range of sustainable, reusable products. Ireland's also committed to the public sector leading by example. And so we'll also be looking to influence the market for circular goods and services through green public procurement. Over the next few years, we're going to be embedding mandatory environmental criteria in all of our public procurement spending. And we'll be beginning that process this year with the production of a new National Green Public Procurement Action Plan. So in summary, I think it's an incredibly exciting time to be working on the circular economy in Ireland. We set ourselves some ambitious and transformative targets, and we need to do a huge amount of work to achieve those targets, but the potential rewards are even greater. The biggest priorities? Well, the biggest immediate challenge that we face is communicating what the circular economy actually is and how does it relate to people's daily lives. So we know that the level of awareness is just not there yet in Ireland. And when I say it's not there yet, that's across the board. So it's not just the general public and business, but even in parts of the public sector, there isn't that strong awareness. So one key role of government is developing and communicating those messages on circular economy, and to do that in a way that's clear and makes sense to everybody. So we'll be doing a lot of work on that over the coming year as we implement our strategy, and as well as making sure that we have the right regulatory framework, we also need the right mix of skills and training, and we also need to support investment. Well, one real advantage that we have is that despite what I've said, the overall level of public awareness in Ireland does need to improve, but we have a network of civil society groups that really are passionate and engaged about circular economy. And that could be NGOs, community groups, could be other organisations like the Rediscovery Centre, and they can be a real source of local leadership and innovation in relation to circularity. And as government, we want to support and amplify the work that they're doing. And so that's one reason that I was so pleased to hear about the Rediscovery Centre's successful effort to bring the circular economy hotspot to Dublin in 2023. And as Minister, I'm really looking forward to working with you to make that event a real showcase for the Irish circular economy. Well, in terms of funding, last year I introduced a new funding stream, and that was specifically for circular economy projects. The Circular Economy Innovation Grant Scheme, we call it. The scheme aims to support social enterprises, voluntary community groups, but also SMEs, and that's to carry out innovative circular projects. This scheme is going to be running every year, and I hope to be able to provide increased year-on-year funding as it develops. Our EPA, our Environmental Protection Agency, is also providing funding for circular economy projects, and beyond that, there's an important source of non-financial support, such as guidance and training in our local government sector. Well, what I think about that is that one benefit we'll have is that there's multiple examples of mature circular economy initiatives and projects across the EU. And I think we can learn from these and we can seek to replicate them in Ireland. And while I was preparing this strategy, I really wanted to make sure that Ireland's national policy was framed in the wider EU context, and that we identified opportunities to work with other member states, things like green public procurement. And that work has already begun, and it should become much more visible in the coming months and years. But in terms of purely national measures, the Circular Economy Bill that I mentioned earlier, that is really important. That's the centre of everything. That legislation will mean that by law, the Irish government is required to develop and update its national circular economy policy. So the circularity is here to stay, and it's built in as a priority across government. The powers that we've put into that bill around economic incentives, bans on environmentally harmful products, and streamlining our national regulatory framework, these are really serious and substantial. So legislating for these things will have a quick and significant impact on Ireland's circularity rate. And that won't just be a direct effect, but it will also be sending a policy message to the market that the government is serious about achieving the circular economy, and that it's going to take actions to support that section of the economy and to reach that goal.
Thank you so much, Minister Smith, for your contribution. And it is really an exciting time now in Ireland. We have all of the policy in place that we need to really make the circular economy happen. And we're very, very excited about that opportunity. And now we turn to Europe, and I'm going to introduce Cillian Lohan, who is Vice President for the European Economic and Social Committee. And he's going to deliver a short address live from Brussels. So hopefully, again, the technology will be okay for us. Cillian, are you with us?
I'm with you, Sarah. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Perfectly, thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you for the opportunity to say a few words as these events come to a close. I'm here in the European Economic and Social Committee, and currently I sit as Vice President of that committee. But as a member working on the different legislative inputs that we give a number of 5 years back now, I had proposed the establishment of this circular economy stakeholder platform. You're a host for these Circular Europe Days. And really over the last number of years, I think that platform has evolved to be a very good example of what the Minister has just mentioned. That is the active engagement of civil society organizations and other groups who are really the front runners in this space on circular economy. The idea of the platform was to share best practices amongst those who are working in the space, but also to identify on a very practical level what transition are that exist and what can change on a policy level in order to facilitate that transition to happen more easily and at a faster pace. I think many of the discussions over the last few days have also played into that theme and will have helped this initiative to advance this idea of circular economy. One of the key things with the platform, of course, was to give ownership of such a platform to the stakeholders and to those who were engaged in the practice. And with that, I think you will have seen over the last few days the very active engagement of our coordination group in ensuring that events have taken place, that networking has happened, and that those links are made between different sectors and between different initiatives that are happening. Previous speaker has mentioned the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the importance of linking into those. And the Minister has mentioned the importance of coherence across the EU in our approach to circular economy. I certainly think that the activities in Dubai can only have helped with that. We have organized a series of EU circular talks amongst our members and members of the stakeholder platform to spread that word. And also, I think the event across the last few days organized with Enterprise Europe Network, that matchmaking event, is also one of the key valuables that we can take away. Certainly, circular economy is a very practical tool, and in a world of talking about theories of change and how we can transition, I think circular economy can become a very tangible way of achieving those different goals that we set out. Thank you for giving me the space to address you today. And from a still sunny Brussels, I wish you the very best for the rest of the afternoon.
Thank you, Cillian. And now we turn to a contribution from Sharon Finnegan. Sharon is a Director of Environmental Sustainability at the Environmental Protection Agency. And today, Sharon is going to talk to us about Ireland's Circular Economy programme.
Afternoon, everybody. My name is Sharon Finnegan. I'm the Director of Environmental Sustainability with the Irish Environmental Protection Agency. I want to first express my thanks to the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform for the opportunity to speak today on Ireland's Circular Economy Programme, which is led by the Irish Environmental Protection Agency. As Minister Smith has outlined, in the past 2 years, there's been an acceleration in the national ambition and activities to deliver a circular economy in Ireland. And I suppose the impetus for this acceleration was the 2020 policy, a waste action plan for a circular economy, which really sets out a range of aims and targets for the state and the measures to achieve them. One of the policy actions was to reconfigure Ireland's National Waste Prevention Programme into the Circular Economy Programme. And last month, that new programme was co-launched with the whole of government Circular Economy strategy. The programme is a 6-year programme that's going to support the government's circular economy policy agenda and will be a driving force for Ireland's move to a circular economy by both businesses, householders and indeed the public sector. The programme's vision is an Ireland where everyone uses less resources and prevents waste without impacting on sustainable economic growth. Over its 6-year duration, the programme aims to provide leadership on the circular economy to improve coherence and alignment of activities from a national to a local level to ensure really maximum impact. The programme will also maintain funding supports to drive a circular economy through innovation grants and indeed seed funding. It's also going to build a knowledge and an evidence base and report on progress towards circularity. And I suppose the final piece is to realise the enterprise opportunity of a circular economy by supporting new business models, promoting resources and resource efficiency and enhanced use of secondary materials. Of course, applying the appropriate regulatory framework to that, which is also a core function of the EPA. The Circular Economy Programme incorporates the EPA's existing National Waste Prevention Programme, which really is building, I suppose, on the 15 years of experience and leadership from the EPA from that programme and on waste prevention, which is really an important element of the circular economy. And our programme, the new programme, is built on 4-pillar structure. First being advocacy, insights, data and coordination. The second being innovation and demonstration. The third being delivering through partnerships, and fourth is a regulatory framework for circularity. We're going to focus in the programme on 7 key areas, and these are really aligned to the EU Green Deal priorities. So packaging, plastics, textiles, food, nutrients and water, construction and buildings, electronics and ICT, and then of course batteries and vehicles as well. So there's a very good spread across the 7 priority areas. The annual work programme will reflect the activities and priorities for any given year, and existing and well-regarded programmes like Stop Food Waste, Green Enterprise, the Local Authority Prevention Network will continue under the Circular Economy Programme. Our strategic partnerships, which are really crucial, recognise the benefits and of collaboration, and these are going to continue. Some examples here are collaborations that we've done with the Local Authority sector. The Rediscovery Centre is also a key priority partner for us, and its role in raising awareness of the circular economy is crucial. And I suppose its support for social enterprises working with circular business models is really crucial in this space. Another partner for us is Circularity, which is led by the manufacturing research, supporting innovation for circular manufacturing. Another key partner for us is the national training organisations such as Solus, around delivering green skills training. This is crucial. And also the reuse and repair sector, for example, Community Resources Network Ireland, to support a network of community reuse and repair organisations. The programme really provides data and insights to inform circular economy development in Ireland. The EPA has commissioned a number of circular insights briefing papers, and really we've completed a series of nationally representative behaviour and attitude surveys on food and on plastics and on textiles, and they're going to be published later this year, and we're going to continue to build on that work and look to other areas during the year. So just to wrap up, EPA's recent publication of waste statistics for 2019 really, I suppose, reveals that Ireland will continue to produce more waste each year. Our recycling rates are falling. We're heavily reliant on export. And I suppose the link between economic growth, consumption levels and waste generation has not been broken in Ireland. In this context, our future circular economy ambitions are definitely going to be a challenge. With our strong national framework for circular economy, through the Waste Action Plan for Circular Economy, obviously the whole of government circular economy strategy, and our national circular economy programme, which the EPA is leading on, and of course the circular economy legislation, which will be making its way through the Irish Parliament shortly, mean, I suppose, that Ireland does have a tremendous opportunity to foster and deliver a circular economy over the coming years. We are really excited in the EPA about being part of the delivery of that, and we're really looking forward to it in the future. If you do want to find out more about the programme, there are resources on the EPA website, www.epa.ie, including a short video about the programme and also details on how to contact us. So please do contact us if you've heard anything today that you think might be of relevance to you or how we might work together. I want to thank you for the invitation to speak, and I want to wish the event every success. Thanks.
Thank you, Sharon. And as you can see, there's lots of opportunity for implementation as well through the EPA's Circular Economy Programme, and all of that information is on the website, as Sharon said. And I do recommend that you have a look at this programme, because it really is bringing about significant change in Ireland and will continue to do so over the next coming years. Now we turn our attention back to the room, and we're going to, I suppose, start with the main body of the presentations here from the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform. So I suppose from my own perspective, we joined the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform in 2020, but with our COVID restrictions, it has been very difficult for us to network and to meet each other properly. So this is a super event today, and we're really delighted to meet with all of you. And Circular Europe Days has been wonderful just for the last 2 days to hear about all the great initiatives and opportunities that are happening for the circular economy across Europe. So thank you very much for all the rich content that we've already received. I want to turn our content just to the Rediscovery Centre and tell you a little bit about us. We are the National Centre for the Circular Economy in Ireland, and we have been in operation since 2004, delivering social enterprise activity, research and education, and we have a wonderful demonstration centre for the circular economy. I'm going to start just by sharing with you a little video. So this is just to give you a flavour, I suppose, of what the Rediscovery Centre does in Ireland. So over to you.
Look around you. Think about how our world is interconnected. How communities enrich our lives. How spaces retain our history. How good design shapes our well-being. We connect and collaborate. We inspire ideas. And we engage. Through social enterprise, through education and research, through our partnerships and networks. Our mission is to bring about a better future. We are Ireland's National Centre for the Circular Economy. We are the Rediscovery Centre.
Thank you. So hopefully that gives you just a look, I suppose, at what we are doing in Ireland. And as was mentioned previously, we're really excited about hosting Circular Economy Hotspot in 2023. So we're looking forward to that opportunity to share with you all of the wonderful circular economy initiatives throughout the country. We've talked a lot about policy and programs that are being developed at present to support the circular economy. But I guess it's important to recognise that there is already a very strong circular economy community in Ireland. And that's been running, for several decades, really. For example, the community-based reuse, repair and recycling sector is really strong, and it's really well connected in Ireland as well. We have the Community Resources Network supporting those activities of the network for almost a decade. There's also a very strong bioeconomy with several large-scale regional initiatives operating in the country. And there is the national platform, which Sharon mentioned, for the circular economy, and that's for the manufacturing platform, and it's called Circularity. And Paul's going to cover that in his presentation when he joins us. There's also significant circular economy research capability and capacity in Ireland, alongside many established circular economy businesses, projects, and programs. So in terms of my contribution, I suppose, I just wanted to maybe talk to you a little bit about the work that we've been doing over the past 17 years. And it's a bit of a shock to actually say 17 years, because it feels like 3 or 4 years, to be honest. There's so much going on at the Rediscovery Centre. It's always evolving, always exciting, and always fun. One of the key roles of the Rediscovery Centre is delivering education and raising awareness. So this takes many forms and many formats. We have formal curriculum-led education programs, and they're delivered at primary, secondary, and third level. Last year, as we moved online, we worked with over 75,000 primary, secondary, and third level students. We also provide support for the national curriculum development and for teachers' continued professional development on the circular economy. In 2020, we started a nationwide programme which is funded by the Science Foundation of Ireland, and this programme recognises and highlights the role of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering and maths, in the circular economy and in the area of sustainability. And this has been delivered through primary, secondary, and teacher training and our community channels. The work that we deliver is hands-on, it's inquiry-based, and it's action-oriented. It's highly popular with teachers and students alike, and there's interest growing all the time. And I'm very happy to share our programs with you later today when we're networking. The non-formal or the vocational training is delivered through our social enterprises and our national networks. We've got 4 social enterprises: Rediscover Furniture, Rediscover Fashion, Rediscover Paint, and Rediscover Cycling. And they offer training opportunities and provide technical upcycling, reuse, repair, and recycling skills to long-term unemployed people and those people that are at distance from the workplace. Interestingly, over 90% of the people that we work with go on to full-time employment or they return to education. So it's a really good success rate in terms of transition. So public engagement as well and awareness raising activities delivered by the centre, and this really equips individuals and communities with the knowledge and the skills and the tools that they need to embrace the circular economy. We have a strong circular economy communications programme delivered through multi-channel campaigns. We also provide knowledge and information through digital platforms, the website, newsletters, and also in person with targeted circular economy conversations, skills training, and workshops and events. It takes many forms. We host festivals, conferences, we have virtual workshops and demonstrations, and it really is a fun place to be and to work and to visit. So again, I do encourage everyone that's online and here today to come and visit us at the Rediscovery Centre. Another key area of work that we're involved in is research and really demonstrating the opportunities of the circular economy. Circular economy is still a relatively new concept, and for many audiences, it can seem quite abstract. So it's our role, or at least we see it as our role, to make the whole area of circular economy more accessible and to demystify some of the conversations that we're holding around the circular economy. I suppose one of the ways that we do the demonstration element is through our social enterprises. So we have, as I mentioned before, 4 social enterprises. And they're really preventing waste from being generated in the first place. They're creating opportunities for long-term unemployed and for people to get new skills. And they're also really inspiring people as to what can be done with materials that would otherwise maybe be thrown away. We've been working in this area of social enterprise development for over 10 years now, and I suppose we've picked up quite a bit of knowledge and expertise along the way. And because of that, and through our strategic partnership with the Environmental Protection Agency, we established the National Circular Economy Academy. And this academy is now delivering mentoring for social enterprises throughout the country and for individuals and companies that really want to embrace the circular economy and adopt circular economy business models. Another area of demonstration is really through our centre. It is essentially a centre of excellence for the circular economy. It's a relatively, I I suppose looking at this project and thinking about the area of collaboration, this was a joint initiative with Dublin City Council, the Government of Ireland, and the European Life Programme. So at the time when we started working this project in 2014, we were looking for a new home for all of our activities to bring an opportunity to people that they could actually see this circular economy in action. And so we had the old Ballymun boiler house was due to be demolished. And we spoke with Dublin City Council, who were very positively received to the idea of reusing the building for community benefit. And so working with them and in collaboration with the government and with the European Life Programme, we reinvented this building. And it really is just a sight to behold in terms of all of the technology that we've managed to get in there and also how we work with the building itself. We do this, I suppose, there's lots of opportunities, I suppose, to engage with the building. We have educational exhibits all over the building. We have renewable and energy efficient systems. The entire building has been rebuilt using sustainable building materials. We're harvesting rainwater. We have grey water recycling on site. We have closed loop systems for the wastewater treatment system. And the gardens are designed for biodiversity enhancement and for environmental education. It really provides an immersive experience for visitors and also for us, I guess, it's a very inspiring place to work. On the topic of collaboration, I suppose, we've always worked collaboratively with partners to develop innovative solutions to further evolve the circular economy and to leverage the policy opportunities in line with national targets. We started work, as I said, in 2004 as a small organisation based in Ballymun, and our first strategic partner was Dublin City Council, and we continue to work with them today, developing social, environmental and economic benefits for the local area. We also now have a strategic partnership with the Environmental Protection Agency, and this enables us to co-design our approach to the national reach of the centre as the National Centre for the Circular Economy. There's real importance in these multi-annual partnerships because they provide the opportunity for longer-term strategic thinking on the circular economy. And these partnerships have really resulted in increased and expanded impact that goes way beyond the partners' ambitions in the first place. We also work with various government departments and agencies, with local authorities throughout the countries, with the regional waste management offices, with all of the academic institutions and businesses working in the space of the circular economy, with NGOs and community groups, and with social enterprises. Rediscovery Centre is essentially a bottom-up circular economy organisation, and through developing partnerships and projects with all of these actors, we have created a circular economy hub that has been supporting and accelerating circular economy innovation for almost 17 years. Our work in capacity building through collaboration networks, communities, committees, groups and platforms like the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform is key to the success of the Centre as a national circular economy hub. And so I would like to thank you once again for the opportunity to participate both in the platform and in this great event in Dubai. And thank you all for your time, both here in the room and online. And now, without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Paul McSweeney. Paul is from the Zero Net and is representing Circularity as a national manufacturing platform, and he's going to share his experience on scaling circularity. So over to you, Paul.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Thanks a lot, Sarah. Well done.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Paul McSweeney. I'm the founder of a company called ZeroNet. Thinking about the problem of circularity for a long, long time led me to the conclusion that what was needed was a whole new operating system designed around specifically the logistical requirements of the circular economy. And so after a lot of stop-start, just like Sarah attested to her longevity in this space, I've been doing this for 10 years. So we're going to talk about the problem that we're trying to solve, one of the problems we're trying to solve, a quick introduction to the platform, tell you a little bit about what that 10 years has looked like, what's different about the ZeroNet, what's the unique value proposition. I'm going to give you a demonstration of this because it is based on a user app that's been live in the English city of Brighton and Hove for the last year and a bit. and it's been a very successful project. We're going to talk about that project a little. And then last but absolutely not least, representing our sponsors here today, Circularity, who are accelerating Ireland's journey towards a circular economy. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about them and how we ended up becoming partners. So the problem is a very, very large problem. As many people who have been doing various presentations by Expo have been talking about, e-waste is a monumental problem, probably the most catastrophic waste stream in the world. If you look at a single year's worth of e-waste, representing 53 million odd tons, that's how big it is compared to the Empire State Building in New York. The problem is destined to get even worse by 2030 if we don't do something about it. Now, whatever about the size of the problem, if we were recovering all of these materials, it wouldn't be so bad. But the awful thing is that less than 20% of e-waste globally is formally recycled, which is a crime. It really is. So how do you fix the problem? Well, we don't have all the solutions, but we have an aspect of the solution, and one of which is our platform, which is the ZeroNet. Very simply, it consists of 3 elements: a user app, allowing householders to register different kinds of e-waste categories. And by the way, it's not just about e-waste. We happen to have started with e-waste, but it'll target many other streams as well. Then there's an operation piece in the middle, and critically links to a driver app to allow for the right kind of collection, because where things fall down right now in many respects is around how we collect. So started off way back in the distant past of 2011, launched the company. We were very lucky to have become members of the Ellen MacArthur Foundation CE 100, which gave us access to the great and the good and to regions and to countries. So we got a very, very great exposure to what circularity was going to become long before it became something real. We developed our first pilot somewhere along there. Our second pilot, which did a lot more, thanks to funding from Zero Waste Scotland, where we've done a lot of work. And that pilot went live in the Scottish city of Stirling in 2019. It was supposed to expand. However, something called COVID came along. We ended up deploying our first large-scale urban pilot of the platform in Brighton and Hove in collaboration with the City Council, Material Focus, which is a producer responsibility organization in the UK, and a local IT asset management company. 2021, last year, we were lucky to have become members of Circularity, which gave us massive access to that network, of which more anon. We also planned an Australian expansion. In fact, only yesterday, we received a formal letter of commercial intent from our Australian partners to deploy our platform in Australia, and that's got a headline value of 17 million Australian dollars. So we plan to be in every home in urban Australia, about 8.5 million homes within 5 years. So that's been a good thing to have happened in Expo, even though it wasn't actually directly related. Our project in Brighton was also awarded a very prestigious Circular Economy Project of the Year by Business Green, who are a well-known outfit promoting green news. So that was the story. We've had endorsements from far and wide from many, many major brands. Many of these partnerships and relationships came about through the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, and many of these brands are heavily involved in trying to reinvent themselves around the principles of circularity. So the unique value proposition. So I start off with a quick question. Who wants to save the planet? Okay, so you don't have to put your hands up. We all want to save the planet. However, when it comes to motivating ourselves around changing our behaviors, specifically when it comes to waste management, there is a gap, a big gap between desire and action, because we are lazy. And so the single biggest USP, the unique selling point for the ZeroNet, is actually convenience. It's the fact that you can provide doorstep collection services, which is very, very different to what exists right now. And just to give you an example, if you think of a country like Japan, which has a very, very high level of civic mindedness, they are very good citizens as citizens go. This was a project that was run by a consortium of the 4 biggest producers of printer cartridges, the purpose of which was to try and recover as many print cartridges as they could, because that's a very problematic waste stream. If you mix them in with general e-waste, you're never going to get the materials that are embedded in the items back. And so they decided to use the Japanese post office network. And so with all of the necessary machinery in place to manage take-back, they only achieved 10% take-back. And the conclusion from the report produced after the end of that project was that people do not want to leave the home. And the more you ask them to do work around leaving the home, the less they're going to engage. So what's different about the ZeroNet? Well, it is a geospatial database. This is actually a live snapshot of our database from Brighton from last summer, showing actual collection points, each representing different kinds of e-waste. It's in fact the first geospatial database in the world, and it's dedicated to real-time household availability of many, many different categories of post-consumer products and materials. These are all the stakeholder groups that are relevant. And so just I'm going to give you a quick whiz through the platform, 3 different parts to it: user app, portal for operations, and a driver app. User app, as you would expect. Having logged on, it is very, very simple. You can simply enter new collections, manage existing collections. What we're going to do here is we're going to go through the process of managing a new collection. And when you get to the next screen, everything that you see here is soft. It's linked to the specific geography of where you actually are using the platform. Right now, the platform only works in the 21 areas within Brighton and Hove, representing about 180,000 homes, but it can look different depending on where it's deployed. So having gone through the selection process, it then looks like shopping in reverse. And it's very important to register devices like iMacs and MacBooks and iPads separately, because if you don't handle them correctly at the point of collection, you're going to lose most of the value. So we go to the basket, check a couple of boxes, and that's now the collection request in the system. We then go through, from an operational point of view, this is, again, a live system hiding out the sensitive customer-specific data, and we'll zoom in on this, Brighton. And again, all these spots represent discrete collection points of different kinds of we. We're very careful about how we categorize small we in this case, because if you want to recover high value for reuse, one thing's for sure, if you don't collect this device in the correct way, you have no chance of recycling it at the highest level. Now, obviously, reuse would be the best thing to do with it, but you've got to recover things in the right way. Shoving everything into a bag and dropping them off somewhere and hoping for the best with data bearing results in a catastrophic loss of value. So in this case, we're actually showing what the specific collection items are within an area of Brighton and Hove City. And then the bit that's very, very interesting is how you can go for targeted streams of recovery. This, in fact, is a map of all of the available iPhones for collection across Brighton. This view could apply to any kind of a branded stream. And one of the things that's happening at a European level and indeed at a UK level is this concept of doorstep extended producer responsibility. For the first time 2 weeks ago, I actually heard the phrase used. Doorstep EPR is where things need to go. You've got to collect in the right way in order to recover we in the right way. So the other thing that we can support is things like medical waste. We've got a project we're looking at in the UK, food waste, textile. And then what happens is the platform becomes the basis on which genuine circular models can then be deployed. So that's the way we see this going. Deploying those models is not phase one, because a lot of them, how many here know about the Loop initiative? I'm sure quite a few of you do. Lots and lots of talk with these guys. They're still trying to get their platform. It's a fantastic platform established. Then very simply, we produce an optimized route map. And this is the critical piece. This is the whole driver or the collection experience. What you must do if you want to recover in the right way, you've got to be able to track, trace, tag, QR code, and we do all of that. And so another little thing then is that we've got all these different custom views. We're in discussions with all sorts of people down in Australia, NHS in the UK, Loop, different brands, looking at coffee pod take back. And the system is multi-location, multi-ward, multi-category, multi-item, and potentially available across every one of the 9,400 wards that represent the UK. We're going live in the US, in Ireland and Australia, inshallah, in 2022. That's the plan, but Australia probably being the first of those to happen. So just a little bit about our Brighton project. We were a year old in November, and Brighton has been a great project. We collected over 27,000 electrical items, of which 5,400, over 20% were recovered for direct reuse, which was great. But maybe the most telling statistic from this project is that we were able to drive a whole new sector of schools reuse. And this schools reuse allowed machines that were recovered at the doorstep to be put back out for people who were struggling with home learning. And that little note there from an 8-year-old boy in a primary school in Brighton, dear Take Back, I'm so grateful for this laptop. I've had a lot of trouble doing my home learning, and now I can do it. So that kind of makes it worthwhile getting up out of bed in the morning. The key outcomes, 2,000 collections, 27,000 electrical items collected, 35% of IT items recovered were able to be reused. And that, we believe, is the first time that that's been possible from domestically sourced data-bearing IT. So, Circular Economy Project of the Year, which I've already mentioned. I want to talk now just a little bit about the National Platform for Circular Manufacturing, our sponsor, Circulara. Circulara has been going since 2020. It's Ireland's national platform for circular manufacturing and really driving the whole circularity agenda within the country. It was created by Irish Manufacturing Research and the Department of the Environment, Climate Action and Communication, as well as the Irish EPA and Climate Kick. So its brief is to, apart from driving the agenda, it's a cross-sectoral body with 39 members, including multinationals. Obviously, we have a very large multinational manufacturing sector in Ireland, small and medium-sized enterprises, then micro enterprises. And down here, it targets just every sector you can think of, from pharmaceutical, textiles, fashion, and down here, which is the one that we're particularly interested in. And it's been quite a transformative experience for us to be a member of Circulara. There's a vision to accelerate the transition towards a net carbon circular economy in Ireland. Its mission is to demystify and deliver and offer large-scale system-led innovations and test beds, one of which I'm going to talk about in a moment. It's very novel as well in that it's addressing what we recognize to be a very substantial circularity gap in Ireland through raising awareness, building knowledge, and critically supporting Circulara's members to capitalize on what is seen to be a €2 billion annual opportunity that circular models potentially represent. So, in terms of the various vectors across which Circular is active, well, awareness raising is a critical one. The knowledge sharing piece, capacity building, there's funding support as well. But I think from a zero net perspective, the thing that's been most useful to us and to many other members is how Circulara has put us firmly on the map in Ireland, something that we hadn't expected to happen. We've had full access to the Circulara network. We've been able to raise awareness of our platform. We've been introduced to a whole host of different stakeholders, including the EPA, and a network of 20 local authorities, several of whom want to work with us on pilots. We've access to funding, and critically, this little hub down in Cork with WiseTech, which is one of the biggest IT asset disposition companies in the world, with whom we plan to work by deploying a pilot to between 7,000 and 10,000 homes in the Cork City area and collaborating with MTU, Munster Technology University. So that's something we're really, really happy to see happen and hope that it does happen indeed in 2022. Just remains for me to say that in our view, there is no such thing as waste. We will happily redefine waste as scattered inventory. And the ZeroNet, we believe, is the first holistically designed circular logistics operating system dedicated to the deployment of the circular economy at scale. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Paul. And many congratulations on your recent success. If I could just ask maybe Freik and Ledea to join us on stage. Freik and Ledea are the co-chairs of the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform. So we're now going to have a bit more of a reactive session. So we're hoping that you will join us in a Q&A session. But before we start, maybe I could pose a question to Ledea and to Freik. So first of all, I suppose we've been talking a lot today about innovation and collaboration in this pavilion at least. And I'm just keen to hear, how do you think collaboration through the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform can accelerate the circular economy in Europe? Ledea or Freik?
First me. Okay. Thank you very much. First of all, congratulations. It was really so inspiring listening to you, and I took some notes today. So what I liked very much was at the opening, this sense of community. I really think that that is so important, that we understand that only through collaboration we can move forward. So, and that we can count on each other. And within this European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform, we are really doing our best to nourish this feeling of community. So this is one message. Then the other thing that I like very much is what we have heard, how practical and pragmatic you actually are. Because we are in our circular economy bubble, and sometimes so impressed and enthusiastic about what we do that we forget that others are maybe not so familiar with the topic, with that, what they can do, and so on. So you've shown us today how we can step out of this bubble, and also another important message, how to make things accessible, affordable, convenient, because we are lazy. We don't want to change. So that was very good message that I took, and that is what we are bringing to the European platform as well. So show us the cases, learn from each other, make things tangible, so measure things and so on. So I don't want to be too long. So just one more thing, because I like so much the name of rediscovery. And I was thinking while you were presenting all these things that it is about rediscovering the lifestyle that we were so used to 50 years ago. I remember my grandma, she was repairing things, or my uncle did that and so on, but we forgot. So this rediscovery message is really strong. And to conclude, what we have heard from you as well is not to be closed to Europe or to our own countries, but really to be courage and brave and to find partners, as you said, in Australia, for example. So really go beyond. And this is also the message for our European platform. It is not that we are locked in, the opposite. We would like to open and share the knowledge and also learn from others. So this is for now, but as you know, I can talk a lot, so I give the word to Freek.
So go beyond, everyone. That's a good point from Ladea. If we could just hand over to Freek. Do you have some thoughts?
Thanks, Sarah. Well, I can echo the word of Ladea, of course. Your question was also, what can the stakeholder platform bring? And I think if I listen back to all the presentations that we have heard, there were a couple of things which people stress. The urgency, but we know that it's urgent. The potential for various business sector has also been mentioned. There is a great momentum in this time, but no country, no business, no one can do this alone. It's too big for us. We're all connected in value chain, from the beginning of the value chain to the end. Businesses, government, knowledge institutes, consumers. We can only tackle this if we pick it up together. And that makes it, you have to make the network work, and linking it with the sense of community. We always say, more jokingly, circular economy is 20% technological innovation, it's 80% social innovation. So you need to bring people together. That's essential. And then if I think about platforms to collaborate, bringing people together, that's what the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform is actually doing. In Europe, it's the network of network in Europe, and Europe is the leading continent in circular economy. I think ISEPS wants to facilitate bringing people together, wants to facilitate collaboration, and I think you in Ireland have so much more than you think. You're much further than you think. So bring that to Europe and you get a lot back. The fact that you're here is also, I think, to the network. Dublin will be the network in 2023, so you will be the network engaging also others. So I expect actually a lot of that. I'm really happy that you're closer in the family also after today. I'll leave it with that.
Thank you very much, Freek. And so are we. We're very excited both about the hotspot, but also being on the coordination group of the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform. It has introduced us to so many new friends and so many new faces and some great ideas and innovation. So we're really excited to be here, and we're really happy to continue to learn through the platform. So now we're going to hand over to the audience. Perhaps we have a question from one of you that you would like to ask the panel or myself. Over here, perhaps.
Hello. Hi. I have a question for Paul. Thank you very much for your presentation and congratulations on your development. Your platform indeed seems great at managing the collection of useful resources. How can it expand beyond electrical waste?
One of the things you have to decide when you're figuring out what the starting point for something like this is what's the most urgent, critical, and available stream to actually collect as a starting point. And it seems to me that every house in the Western world, or any house that emulates Western forms of consumption, has got electronic waste. So the idea is, if you're familiar with the phrase Trojan horse, that you use a service, like a commonly required service such as e-waste, to get things going. And then you start introducing newer services on top of that, such as textile recovery. We're looking at coffee pods in particular parts of the UK, because that's a real problematic area. And once you've established kind of a credible base where you have councils, because very important for us is that we be supported by councils, otherwise people won't treat us seriously. So when you want to start bringing new layers of services on, the starting point is pick something like e-waste. It gets you going. People are used to the idea. And then you can start looking at genuine circular models like the Loop initiative, for example. But that would be a very hard one to start with. Thank you.
Johannes, do you have a question there?
Yeah, I do. Thank you for these talks. I enjoyed them. Paul, also to you. You know, the circularity hubs play a crucial role in the transition that we plan to do. Ladea knows well about these, I suppose. And the question is now, we believe that underutilized infrastructures need to be converted into these circularity hubs to come. Do you think that you and your business case can develop these the collectibles of a community, the secondary resources, and can also work with underutilized infrastructures, collecting them in a way, and connecting logistics with the secondary resources? Thank you.
The longer version of this presentation covers all of that, actually. And quite interestingly, one of the first bodies that I tried to connect with, and did connect with successfully, was the Royal Mail in the UK. So National Postal Services, on the basis that we had an idea that postal services do logistics in one direction only, but they have a mammoth infrastructure for facilitating circular collection. And when I met these guys, and it was extraordinary how open and engaged they were. They said, actually, if we were able to use your platform, which didn't exist beyond a couple of very disputable slides, they said, we could double to treble to quadruple our profitability if we could use our network for collection. We can't do that right now. So it's a really good question, because it's one of the challenges is how do you manage the logistics to keep the costs down? And we see National Postal Services or existing delivery outbound logistics partners who have capacity when they've done, and that capacity tends to be, it's very low cost. For the Royal Mail, they said it's low cost because we're already at a house. So if you can give us intelligent information to say there's an iPhone to collect, then so they can collect it for very low cost. So it's it's the perfect question, because it's the perfect challenge.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Johannes. Is there anyone else have any questions they would like to give to the panel before we move on? Ava?
Oh. Thank you so much. It was really, Paul, that was amazing presentation. I loved it, and there were so many great ideas. And it's just the model is so replicable anywhere. So my question would be, how important is basically the support of different public institutions in this case? Because obviously, how you want to be financially sustainable, the model must work, because you collect the resources, you have to refurbish them, so that's your cost. Then you should be able to sell it. How does this market work? Is this possible to do without green procurement, let's say, or should there be more done in this regard? That would be my question.
Well, it's still very challenging to make a model like this work commercially. That's still the hard part, and that's why we were dependent on grant funding to kick the project off. Curiously, in Australia, the whole e-waste environment there is much more benevolent towards us. We've already figured out in Australia how to make it work. We're close to figuring out how to make it work in the UK, where the value of, like, for example, the famous phone or the laptop, if you recover that as a piece of it has very low value. If you recover it as a still working device, it has much higher value. So you're going up the value chain by using a model like this to recover in the right way. So we think it's all about getting to scale, which we're now ready to do, and getting certain stakeholders like brands to engage so that they can actually target these devices for bespoke recovery. A great example is Apple. Apple's iPhone 13 is actually made from 90% recycled materials, and they need to move away from being dependent on China. So part of the challenge is getting those brands to think of the concept of reverse supply chain, and that's where we see this going. But it's a great question because it's not still on the cusp of commercial viability.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. I think we might leave the questions there because I know we're getting a little bit tight on time. We've checked with the YouTube and we don't seem to have any burning questions there. So we will move now. I'm going to ask Ladea and Freck to do the closing from the European Circular Economy Hotspot, or sorry, European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform this time. Thank you.
This time we have inverse roles. I start and Ladea finishes it off. No, I'm personally tremendously pleased that we pulled this off. It was a hectic ride, but a fantastic drive. And that we pulled this off with these people is fantastic. 2 days, 8 events in 5 pavilions. Netherlands, Slovenia, Finland, Poland, Ireland. It's amazing. During the Dubai Expo, Platform for the World, during the Global Goals Week, parallel to the Abu Dhabi Sustainability, the momentum is great. I think this will be the age of circular economy. So there are tremendous opportunities. And that's also why we combined it with matchmaking by AIN, the Enterprise Europe Network, to bring entrepreneurs together. European frontrunners can have a platform for the world. And we are in a region that needs to change, wants to change, and is actually changing. So it's a very good place to start here. What have we done? We have showcased the best of the leadership group of the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform. Business, buildings and infrastructure, food waste in the bioeconomy, topic of wood, economical instruments, the consumers and electronics. So a wide range of what's actually happening in Europe. And European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform is the network of networks, facilitating parties to come together to accelerate. We were actually supported by and very we felt supported by the words of the Euro Commissioners, Timmermans and Sinkevicius, and we feel that we're on the right track after listening to their speeches. Many, many thanks to the European Commission here in the room, I believe, if I looked well, the EESC, the wonderful Secretariat of Assets. Hi guys, you were wonderful. Thanks for all the support, and especially you all here in the room. What here has been pulled up is really bottom-up power, tremendous amount of voluntary work, but all because we believe in it, and 1 + 1 is 3 in this case. It was heartwarming and gives me, let's say, confidence in the future. And then it's over to Ladea.
It's hard to say something more than you did. So I must say that we are all very grateful for everyone who is behind the scene and making all that possible. Because I always say there are so many people working hard, but they're often invisible. So one big thanks again to those that also Freck mentioned. And of course, also to all of you who made this here on the stage and who shared all these important messages. So this event I see as an important milestone on this exciting and sometimes really bumpy road journey of European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform. We are all very enthusiastic, and we are doing that because we believe that impossible is possible. And we have heard how important network governance is. So I sincerely hope and believe that it will be even more recognized after that. But now, not only recognized, but also rewarded and also valued, because without this kind of collaboration, things cannot happen. The other thing is that Europe wants to be the lighthouse in this whole transformation, circular transition. And this is a great opportunity because here in Dubai Expo, we show that we have a lot of knowledge, experiences. We are willing to learn, not only to share, but also to hear more, to learn from others. And what we also see is that the platform as such should be put it on the global map. While we have a lot of events, this is one, like Expo, Dubai now, and then we are coming to Expo in Japan, in Osaka, and we are sure we will be there as well with the platform. But in the meantime, we have initiatives like GACERE, we have World Economic Forum, World Circular Economy Forum, COP, and so on. So we would like to go on and to co-organize things like this one, because we have seen how important that is, that we put on the map that we have this network of networks in Europe and that we are open for collaboration. So that would be my message. And I believe that on the side of European Commission, so one of those who established the platform, as Kilian nicely pointed out, we have an important message to conclude these very fruitful 2 days. So we have now European Commission and Virginia Sinkiewicz with his.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this invitation to close the proceedings. The Circular Europe Days have no doubt been a big success. We've seen an impressive array of initiatives from governments and organizations spread across a number of country pavilions. And it's been a great opportunity to make new connections. That's critical for our future economy, because if we want to protect the environment while creating business opportunities and quality jobs, then we need to connect internationally and work together. When we look at the global economy, we all see an urgent need for change. Europe is determined to deliver that and to reach climate neutrality by the middle of the century. Half of all greenhouse gas emissions still come from one source: resource extraction and processing. That tells us we need a new approach and a switch to a circular economy. It is an opportunity not just for Europe, but for the whole global economy. It means new business opportunities through innovative, more efficient methods of production. And it means a net positive effect on GDP with new jobs at local levels for all skill types. Together, we need vibrant communities committed to co-creation. Communities that spread good practice among businesses, academia, and stakeholders at many levels. In Europe, we are building that community. And the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform is a great example of the added value these communities can bring. The platform is vital for sharing ideas, but we need one more ingredient as well. We need policymakers to build a framework, encouraging industry to follow. In Europe, that's what the Commission is doing through the European Green Deal. It comes with a circular economy action plan to reduce our consumption footprint and double circular material use rate in the coming decade. It comes with funding to help drive the change through the European Regional Development Fund, LIFE, and Horizon Europe. We are also helping mobilize private funds through instruments like InvestEU and cohesion policy funds. And it is also comes with a new effort to build up skills for the workforce of tomorrow. That means more circular economy, considerations in our skills agenda, more investment in training systems and lifelong learning, and social innovation through the European Social Fund Plus. The circular economy needs a global approach. So Europe is committed to engaging in the international arena. Together with the United Nations Environment Programme and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, we have set up GACIR, the Alliance on Circular Economy and Resource Efficiency. We are determined to ensure that our free trade agreements reflect the enhanced objectives of the circular economy. And we are stepping up outreach activities through our Green Deal diplomacy, and we are working with EU member states to enhance coordination for a global circular economy. On a more specific subject, we view a global agreement on plastics as the most effective approach to fight marine litter and to a more circular plastics industry. These Circular Europe Days have shown great enthusiasm and continuous positive engagement. Those are good signs for the future, because the transition won't always be easy. But with strong cooperation across all sectors, including at the international level, I'm sure we can deliver what the planet needs. A future that's resilient and prosperous, built around a nature-friendly, more circular economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a great way to finish off our European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform Circular Europe Days. I'm now going to hand over to Pat Hennessy to do the official closing here from the Irish Pavilion, and I would like to thank him personally and all the team here at the Irish Pavilion for the great event that we have had. I remind you that after this session we will be signing the agreement, the Circular Europe Days agreement. And so now I will hand over to Pat, and also to thank all of the people at home who are delivering this live stream throughout YouTube and doing all of the background work. Thank you so much for the team at the Rediscovery Centre and the European Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. The theme of our pavilion, the theme of the Ireland Pavilion is Ireland, Island of Inspiration. And I think the work of the last 2 days of Circular Europe has been a great example of inspiration in action, doing wonderful work to deliver what in fact, of course, is a great example of SDG 17. So SDG 17 is all about partnership, it's about cooperation. So it's entirely appropriate that Circular Europe should be here in July, very much part of the Global Goals Week, the week which after all is focused very much on the SDGs. So thank you for the work that you've done. I really just want to extend a warm message of appreciation to everybody who's contributed to this program over the last 2 days. The European Circular Economy Stakeholder Group, under the co-chairmanship of Ladeja and Frick, very much appreciate that. And of course, the great contribution that our friends from the Irish organisations, Sarah at the Rediscovery Centre and Paul from Circulara, it's been very much sort of a team effort. And I also want to thank the other pavilions from our European Union partners, the European Commission, who have also contributed. And finally, a word of appreciation to our team here at the pavilion, who've delivered a technically flawless performance here, which is itself a merit of our appreciation. Thank you, team, for the work that you've done. So, just remains for me now to invite you to relax, enjoy some Irish hospitality, and we'll be here coming on stream. So the evening is just beginning, but great to have you here. It's been a pleasure to be associated with it, and we look forward to the work of the circular economy getting stronger and better in Ireland and in Europe and indeed around the world. Thank you very much. Thank you.
To sign the joint statement that it is not the end, but the beginning of the journey. So everyone who is committed to continue with circular economy and implementation around the globe is more than welcome to join us and do that in the future. Thank you.
Please join us on stage for a picture.